So quietly in the background, I've been converting all my batteries to USB Type-C. So I no longer have to use D-type cables or specific charging hubs. I can just use a USB-C cable to charge my gear. These 99-watt V-mounts from Neewer now complete that conversion. But the real question is, are they worth the upgrade? So a few years ago, when I decided to make the switch from my A7 III to a proper Cine rig, which at the time was my Blackmagic 6K, I wanted to basically keep the price down as much as possible. I got a really good deal on the Blackmagic, and I didn't want to spend too much on the rig because, I mean, even to this day, I think that the Blackmagic was like a stopgap, just so that I didn't have to go out and spend a lot of money on the FX3, which, I mean, still today is around £3.5, £4 grand. I didn't want to spend that much if I didn't know for sure that cinematography was going to be the pathway for me. In the end, turns out it was, but I'm still glad I saved money on my Blackmagic. So what I did is I just bought your very bog standard cheap £70 V-mounts off of Amazon. Literally all it came with was a D-tap port and a USB type A port, which I think I used only once to charge my iPhone. All I needed to do was power the Blackmagic through the D-tap port, so it made perfect sense to just use something like that for the duration of the time that I had the Blackmagic camera. Whilst having that camera, camera brands started to bring out a much sleeker, slimmer version of a V-mount, and they looked very appealing. I really wanted to have one. It had 8 volts and 12 volts and USB-A and Type-C and a D-tap, but the price was way more than I could afford. I could get it, but I didn't need all those features. I literally just needed a D-tap to 2-pin LEMO to power the Blackmagic, and so what I was using was more than enough. But when it came time to actually sell my Blackmagic camera and finally get my hands on an FX30, those V-mounts really started to shadow the FX30, because the whole point of me switching was that I wanted a camera that I could rig out for productions but also slim it down so small if I really had to. And these V-mounts were just so big. Because I now had a camera that could be powered off of USB Type-C, it made sense to get one of these new sleeker V-mounts, but I didn't want to pay that hefty price tag. And so I left it for quite a bit, and then finally Neewer released their own version of that sleeker V-mount for pretty much £100 off, if not more. And I was like, right, this is the perfect opportunity to make the switch to this much more compact form of a V-mount. Now, you are paying more than those bog standard V-mounts that I was talking about, but you are getting so much more. You are getting a D-tap port, a USB Type A, and a USB Type-C, and you get an 8 volt and a 12 volt on the top, and you get a display on the front, which tells you the battery percentage. I had some sort of indicator on the old V-mounts that I had, but this one is a clear display and tells you exactly the percentage of how much charge you have left and the outputs of all of the ports on this V-mount. So with the price of these V-mounts being a lot more obtainable for a lot more creators out there, and this now completes my conversion of turning all of my batteries into USB Type-C, what else can I say about this battery to convince you why you might want to upgrade? Going back to those previous ones that I was talking about, they were hefty, very hefty, and you did have to bring that big ass charger as well. So converting this down to these size, I can just stack them on top of each other in my case. I can now just charge all of these off of a USB Type-C brick and a USB Type-C cable, and it just makes my production package just that much smaller. I am now in a phase of my career where I just want to get the job done with as little equipment as possible. For this review, I decided that I wanted to take these on my latest short film, Gone Fishing. We rigged out the camera as much as we could, and we were using all of these accessories like the Tilta Nucleus Nano, the Tilta Mirage matte box. We were powering the camera itself. We were powering monitors. All I had on me was 2 of these. That's all I had. I, for a whole day, used one of these batteries and it didn't even run out of charge. I think it got to maybe like 20%, and I was powering a follow focus system, a matte box, the camera itself, monitors, you name it, we were powering it, and these came in so handy. Gotta stop saying come in so handy. I've gotta find another adjective. My god, it's all I talk about. And the final thing I want to mention about these batteries is probably the least of anyone's concerns, and it's just how it looks. Going back to my Blackmagic system, or even using those old V-mounts on my FX30, it just looked like a Frankenstein's monster. It just feels nice to just have a very cohesive, well-rounded rig that just all seamlessly works together. Using these V-mounts on the back just keeps the rig slim and sleek, even if it's hefty and it's got a lot of tools and accessories strapped to it. Just having that on the back, it just makes me enjoy the process so much more, because I just know that my camera rig is going to work the way that I want it to. I think the investment is absolutely worth it, and I highly recommend that you check out these 99-watt V-mount batteries from Neewer. I hope you enjoyed this review here today. If you are interested in checking out these V-mounts, then I will leave a link in the description down below. If you want to see more of this style of content, then as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload one of these new YouTube videos, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers, guys.